As part of our series on business planning, we're going to take a look at selling skills. Selling is a skill that, with a bit of practice, can be learned and mastered. In a recent survey, small business owners were asked to name the most important skills that they feel are essential for business success. Everyone answered sales skills. They agreed success is almost impossible in any industry without strong sales skills. Here's why. To the average person, the word sales implies manipulating or pressuring, anything but pleasant. But if you think of selling as explaining the logic and benefits of a decision, then everyone, business owner or not, needs sales skills. To convince others that an idea makes sense, to show investors or lenders how a business will generate a return, to help employees understand the benefits of a new process, you name it. No matter how good your manufacturing is, how cutting edge your technology is, or how progressive your management style is, you are dead without sales. Sales generate revenue, pay your employees, and ensure your business stays open. Selling is a skill. Don't confuse it with talent. Skills can be learnt with practice and knowledge. Anyone can learn the skills to be a good salesperson. Firstly, to be a good salesperson, you need to know the product or service you are trying to sell. Customers are more likely to trust salespeople who show confidence in themselves and what they're selling. You can build this confidence by increasing your knowledge of your products or services. Things you should know about your product or service include the purpose or purposes that your product or service can be used for, how will it save the customer time and money, how the product or service works, what are its key features, is it easy for the customer to use, how is it made and where it was made are often important. Can the product be delivered or must it be collected from the stall? Is installation required? What is the price and how does it compare with similar products that your competitors may have? Who are your competitors and what are their products? How can a customer be confident about the quality of your product? What are the strengths or the value adds of your product? You can use conventional and creative sources of information to learn about your products or services. Researching the web, information from the manufacturer, or your own experiences using the products. Let's not kid ourselves. The skill of prospecting can be a tough one, and it brings images of cold calls, door knocking, etc. It can be tough, and you need to be resilient, but it will pay off with contracts, leads, and customers. Prospecting can be cold calls, it can be networking, referrals, upselling, etc. Whichever way you approach prospecting, it is important to use the customer's name, but don't overuse it. For example, 8 times in 60 seconds could annoy the customer. Do your homework. In other words, know your product or service. Use a variety of methods: phone, email, voice message. Have a clear message. Get to the point as quickly as you can. Leave the customer with a call to action. If you know your product and have created leads, or better still, customers, then the next skill to master is about asking questions to enable you to present the product in a way that addresses the customer's needs. Your questions should engage the customer in conversation by asking them about the need they have for a product like yours and what problems they're looking to solve with your product or service. By asking open questions, that is, questions that require more than a yes or a no, you are encouraging the customer to share information with you. And by asking clarifying questions, such as I understand you, you need. These questions help clarify the customer's need and confirm to the customer that you are listening. And this brings us to our next skills. Most salespeople are natural talkers. Unfortunately, even a great speaker will only get so far without a little listening. Taking the time to ask your questions and really listen to the answers shows respect and gives you a clearer idea of what the customer wants. Active listening is a great technique and simply involves you listening and then confirming that you have understood what the customer has said, perhaps by paraphrasing or asking a clarifying question. Listen for verbal and non-verbal cues, such as changes in body language, both yours and the customer's. Focus on helping solve a problem for the customer, and keep your goals and agendas out of the conversation. They are less interested in your company than in their needs. The ability to communicate and present information is perhaps one of the most obvious sales skills, but one that can be mastered. Many of us have listened to presentations that were vague, too long, and irrelevant. To make sure your presentations, formal or informal, help you achieve a sale, you should be well prepared. That is, know your product. Use plain English. Be brief and to the point. Ask and answer questions that show you are interested and listening. Be relevant. Customers are not interested in your problems or your sales target or company restructures. Wherever you can, use examples that demonstrate the benefits of using your product. Avoid jargon and technical talk. Make notes and be organised so that you can present the best information. It's not always good to rely on your memory. Objections are a natural part of the sales process. However, how you respond to them can make or break a deal. First, it is essential that you outline the objections you hear most frequently as part of your initial preparation, because then you might be able to address them before they become an objection. Before you respond to an objection, follow these 3 short steps. 1. Empathise. State that you understand, respect, or appreciate the other person's concern. Mr. Smith, I understand that you have to consider price. 2. Clarify. Restate the objection in your own words to ensure that you clearly understand it. So you see the value in this product. It's just a bit dearer than you thought. Is that correct? 3. Seek permission. Ask the customer for permission to offer a solution. Mr. Smith, would it be okay if I took a minute to discuss a few options? Follow this process and you'll find that most people will be more receptive to hearing your solution. Try not to see objections as a no. See them as opportunities to address concerns, reassure, and continue the conversation and negotiate. Negotiating skills are a powerful tool for salespeople, and they require you to suggest a counteroffer. For example, if your price was $100 and the customer offers you $80, can you settle at $95? Make sure you understand the counteroffer being made. For example, check that the counteroffer is a genuine offer to buy. Explore the options with the customer. You may not be able to budge on price, but can you include extra warranty or a service? Acknowledge the customer's view and the offer being made because it shows they have listened and are still interested in your product. Aim to reach an agreement and close the sale. This is a tough one, and it can be easy to be discouraged by no. Start to see the word no as a challenge for you to overcome and not as a rejection. Part of a good salesperson's skill is the ability to keep engaging the customer and know when to move on and when to persevere. Sometimes it's the non-verbal cues or body language of your customer. They may be looking impatient, distracted, or moving away. Only you can decide if it is worth maintaining engagement or moving on. Each situation and customer will be different. Your skill is in reading the signs when to persevere and when to walk away. Be thinking about closing the sale right from the beginning, i.e., begin with your goal in mind. Encourage action and avoid leaving them to think it over. You can get to close by asking questions. For example, would they prefer a green one or an orange one? Would they like it delivered or will they pick it up? Sometimes you get to close easily because you have demonstrated your skills to the customer and they have come to the conclusion naturally. Selling skills are as much about what to do as what not to do. Let's look at some of the things you should avoid. Offensive language. One slip of an inappropriate comment and it can feel like the world has suddenly slipped off its axis. Never use derogatory racial descriptions, gender or sexual orientation, or other politically incorrect phrases. Topics to avoid entirely include religion, politics, and sex. There is no place in a sales negotiation for comments about last Friday night's club experience, ever. The now or never phrase. Any type of perceived threat and your customer will walk away. Phrases like trust me or I'll be honest with you. It puts doubt into your customer's mind and can seem shady and dishonest. I don't know. It's okay that you don't have an answer for something, but what's important is that you convey that in a confident manner. Instead, say something like, that's a good question for my technical support team. Let me see what they would propose and get back to you. This kind of response helps you delay answering until you get the right answer, but they paint the picture of a bigger, more competent company structure, which helps to give you credibility. Open-ended scheduling questions. Avoid talking too much. Remember, it is important to listen if you really want to understand the customer's needs. In summary, effective salespeople know their products, listen, ask questions and evaluate ideas, identify solutions, overcome objections, and find ways to reach agreements without burning bridges. By developing your sales skills, you'll be able to close deals faster and with better results. Closing a sale is part art, part science. We hope you've enjoyed this presentation and found the information engaging. You'll find more information on the Skills Shack portal, along with some questions to check your understanding and links to additional information.